Hello and welcome to the Pixel Scandal Nerdcast, episode 35. I'm Kurt.
End
Hey,
of
line. How you doing?
End of line. Sorry. I'm not used to being in the middle top.
Nightson.
Oreztes.
Handor.
And Gigett.
Ha.
All right. Hey, everybody.
Hey. Hey, Kurt. Can you tell all of these wonderful people where they can find us on the internet?
I sure can. If people want to find us on the internet, they can go to pixelscandal.com and find past episodes and links to all our social media sites and where we stream live and where we have recordings on YouTube and where they can find audio backlog of the show on iTunes or Google Play and all the cool places where podcasts and things are found.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, tonight's spotlight topic is going to be our look forward to 2019.
Woo!
Yeah, so we're going to talk about things we're excited about, things that are releasing, and the future of Pixel Scandal. So it'll be a neat episode.
We're all moving to Europe and going to become...
Where are you going with this?
You're
like,
got
I was so close. There was a joke.
It died like halfway through. I tried to soldier forward, and I got nothing.
Well, hey, Endo, do we have any announcements?
We do have announcements. We have our Pixel Plays Hitman 2. Nightson, what are you up to? What's going on in Hitman?
I think I am hitting a small town American village. Or,
Okay.
Some middle America. And learning them the ways of hitmanning.
Oh,
Okay.
Are you still doing the content they post released?
No, now I think I'm up to date, so now I'm going back and finishing off the story. I'll probably inject. There'll probably be one or two more things to inject as I go, but it'll probably be finishing out the game here in the next couple weeks.
Right on. Well, Hitman 2, those episodes are still launching on Tuesdays. If you want to catch up with what's happening on Hitman, go check out the YouTube channel. You can catch those releases on those Tuesdays. Our Dungeon World game, our next Dungeon World game is on January 12th,
oh my
9
God,
a.m.
that's next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Next weekend.
You say it's
Going
next
to be
weekend,
a busy January.
but it feels like it's been a long time since we've played. I'll be.
It does
honest.
kind of, actually. It does feel like it's been a little
A
while.
month is a long time between games.
Well, and December has that weird extra week. Like it's
Maybe that's what it is.
yeah, like there's
Yeah.
5 Saturdays instead of 4, so it is actually a little bit longer than normal this time around.
Mm-hmm. I like how Handor becomes transparent when he takes a drink of his from his water bottle.
Yeah, so January 12th, 9 a.m. Check that out. Pixel Scandal side quests. We had a recent episode. Our next episode is going to be January 20th, following the Dungeon World game. That'll be at 4 p.m.
That's a
We'll be
Sunday.
playing Mutants in the Night. Mutants in the Night. Kirk, can you tell us a little bit about Mutants in the Night?
Yeah, Mutants in the Night is a. I'll talk about it a little bit more later too when we go into our big explanation on side quests and what we're looking forward to. But Mutants in the Night is a Forged in the Dark game written by DC, and DC they are going to be come over to our channel and run it for us. So I'm super excited.
Who is DC?
So DC Comics is going to be...
Batman
DC,
himself.
Dungeon Commander. I don't know their real name. But Dungeon Commander on Twitter. You can find him there. Yeah, they wrote it. It's about mutants in marginalized communities, sort of taking on jobs against the human population. Oh, DC is their real name. So DC is the shortening of their, I guess, I don't know. So DC is their name.
DC is what they go by.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation about this previously that people are going to be very confused about the DC.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and people have
Expected.
like gamer tags and things like that, or internet personality personas. So I wasn't sure.
It's not that DC, it's a different DC.
Yeah.
Still very
January
exciting.
26th, the following, later in that week, we're going to be running Dead Letters with Dave Kazay of
Yay.
Monkey Fun Studios. Dave was on the podcast not too long ago.
Probably like 6
We had a
months.
great time with him. He's going to be running a game for us, Dead Letters, which, if I'm recalling properly, is going to be a game about postmen who are vampire hunters. Vampire hunting postmen.
There's a lot of
Which is-
crossover skills, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is crazy and completely random and Monkey Fun Studios, so it makes sense.
I'm
So
excited.
it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
obviously.
right now, spoiler, my character has a package that is full of vampire hunting tools that was shipped to himself from Amazon.
Does he now?
We have not made characters.
We have
for that
not made
game yet.
characters for that.
Well, cool. Well, that's all of
That's
our official like dates and announcements and stuff. Before we get into the regular format of the show, I need to issue a retraction from our Christmas episode.
What? Was it not
I
Christmas?
it was on the Christmas episode because I went back and listened to the last 2 episodes. I made a statement that Grandma or Nan,
Oh,
Gordon's Nan, makes the best cookies. And the retraction here is that Gordon's Nan and Mom make the best cookies
that is not the first version of that retraction.
because Nightson's mom has been sending me cookies and I thought they were Nan's cookies. And I feel like it's very important that
That
Mom
the
and
cookies keep flowing.
Mama Nightson know that I love her cookies and I need the cookies to keep flowing. So I want to make sure I issue that retraction for the good of the
Traditional
cookies.
Well, thank you, Nightson's mom, for
Yes.
the great cookies. There's still there's a few left.
There are
There
a few
very
left.
You
Not
should
a
have
lot.
seen the giant
They were
bags
2
of
giant
cookies.
bags.
Yeah.
They're not that full anymore.
I feel ripped off because when we went over there was a nice tray of cookies presented for everybody to share. And then over on the side, there was 2 or 3 big-ass Ziploc bags full of cookies. And I was like, well, how come these cookies are out and those cookies aren't out? Because these cookies all have chocolate chips. And everybody knows that chocolate chip cookies are genetically inferior
Well,
to other types of cookies, which I will not
Nightson,
shame anybody.
Down with
Nightson's
chocolate
mom sent us white chocolate macadamia nut cookies and chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
And,
And you kept all the good ones.
well,
She kept all of them, more specifically. The ones that were
all
put
of
out
them?
were the ones you put out were not the ones that were provided.
yeah, none of the cookies that were out during the party during New Year's Eve
it.
were from any of Nightson's family.
How do I remove
They
other
were
people
store-bought.
from our chat?
I've got 2 things to say. First of all, hashtag she did it for the cookie. Second, I
That
still
will be
haven't
the
got,
very last Limp Bizkit reference ever made on Pixel Scandal.
I want to say that I still have not received my package of cookies.
So I don't have your address, and I just figured I'll just make you cookies when you're here, eventually.
I want some pre-game.
Pre-game
Travel
cookies?
Yeah.
All right, I'll make it happen. I will send you homemade
All right.
baked cookies.
Yes.
They won't be as good as Nan's or Nightson's mom's cookies because they'll be Gigett's
sure they'll be
cookies.
wonderful.
But I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that Nightson's mom makes delicious cookies too.
She's literally just gonna get you a box of cookie dough recipe stuff and just slap an IKEA sticker on
Well-
it and be like, "Have fun."
My
I
3
make-
seconds research shows that Amazon sells homemade cookies.
Yes, I do make fantastic cookies, so I will send you cookies.
Perfect.
So up next, we would normally talk about what we're excited about, but since this is our what we're excited about episode, we're gonna skip that part, and because that's our spotlight topic, and we're gonna move straight into the what we've played recently. So Handor and Endo, what have you guys been playing recently?
A lot of Vermintide 2.
How's that going?
It's a game we. I know Nightson and I have wanted to play for a long, long time, and I kind of got into like a video game dry spell where like I didn't really want to play anything, and I was bored to tears.
Mhm.
And so it was on sale for the winter sale on Steam, So I picked up a few games, and this was one of them that I picked up. And so in my complete and utter boredom, I decided to jump in. And the game's amazing. It's an absolute blast. And then Handor hopped in, and Rando and a couple of our buddies have kind of been playing it here and there. But it's a really good game with a lot of depth and fun combat and a lot of very interesting things in the game. But we've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. For sure.
Nice. Is there another game that it's similar to? Like,
yeah, it's similar to Left 4 Dead.
oh, okay.
And like Borderlands, kind of those kinds of things. But so like you have characters, and each there's 5 classes, and each class has 3 different subclasses, and they're very unique and different. You get gear and loot, and there are secrets hidden in maps to make the level more difficult. And so like the difficulty of the level, there's 3 tiers of difficulty, and then you can ramp that up even more by doing like jump puzzles and finding really super secret hidden things. And then there's like team synergy, and it's a real big combat strategy game. But yeah, it has a feel like Left 4 Dead, just with 1,000 times more interesting depth to it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like streams of it and stuff, and it looks really cool.
It is.
It's definitely something I want to jump in on.
Nice. And you've also been playing Deceit this week, right?
Yeah, we played Deceit, Loot for Life, and a bunch of us got together and played Deceit last weekend.
Oh, nice.
It's free to play, so we're just like, what the hell, we have to lose. We downloaded it and played it. It's actually surprisingly fun.
Oh, nice.
We're kind of waiting to play it again until we have like a full group of people. Like
Yeah.
How many is a full group?
6.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about that is it's kind of like in the same vein of Dead by Daylight,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know who the killer is, so everyone's paranoid, and you're kind of like sussing out your friends, and all of a sudden just like, I saw Endo eat a blood bag, go get him. Yeah, you have to be really careful.
It's a lying game, like you see a lot in a lot of board games, but it's still kind of new for video gaming.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of Gmods that get into it, but it isn't very well explored in more traditional games.
Yep.
So
Nice.
Yeah, one game, the last game we played, one of our buddies we were all on Discord, of course, and he started screaming, I saw Endo eat a blood bag. I was like, no, I didn't, you son of a bitch. And I didn't, but then they all started killing me anyway.
Yeah.
And he was, of course,
He was the killer.
He
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
offender.
Yeah, of course.
That's a dangerous gambit, because if you're able to talk your way out of that, then they have to be like, oh, maybe I saw something else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're the killer.
Otherwise,
It's fun.
everyone
It's
turns
free
on
to
them.
play, so it's
That's cool.
it's worth checking out.
Nice. Yeah, we should totally play that. I would love to play that with you guys. All right, Kurt and Nightson. I know what you guys been playing.
So oh man, and I've been getting dragged into streams recently, or dragged into games recently because I watch other people's streams. So like I was watching DC's stream, and I think I saw like Adam Coble playing it, playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and I was like, all right, well let's check it out, see if I like how much real money. Like, do you actually have to pay real money? Is there enough momentum in the game to play and enjoy the game without paying money into it? And so I installed the game, and I went through the tutorial, and I started joking that Nightson needed to come and teach me the phases of the game, because there are so many little phases where you can cast a counter spell or like an instant, I mean, maybe like 10 times throughout the course of someone else's turn. The game will pause and be like, do you want to do a thing? Is now the time? Is now when you want to cast that spell that you haven't cast the last 3 turns? And force you to press a button until I figured out you can just auto pass if you know you're not going to use it. But so I've been playing that, and because I was begging him for guidance, I drug Nightson into playing the game too.
yeah. I unfortunately I started playing, and I am a ridiculously long time a Magic player. I've been playing since I want to say Unlimited. So like that's like the
Can you
third
put a
or
year on
fourth
that?
set.
It was
geez.
Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and then
Revised. Oh, okay, so it might have been
was
revised. I started playing. This would be early 90s.
93.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez. So we were like,
started too.
That's back when I started was playing in
I want to say I was like somewhere between 10 and 12 started playing it. And so I've been playing on and off for 100 years now.
yeah,
Okay.
Because that's how I do math.
at least 130, I think.
Yeah. And it is super good. I played the Magic Online, which came out, about 10, 15 years ago. And that was decent. Like, it was the only option you had, especially when you grow up and it's a lot harder to get out and actually go to a card shop and play games. It was really nice. But it was pricey. It was a very expensive game to play. It was modeled directly after the card game, and which, to be honest, you grew up on the card game, so spending money on the game wasn't that unheard of. And then, that went on for a while, but I just kind of dropped out of it. The monetization is so much better for the average player. You get, right out the jump, you get 15. Well, you unlock them over one a day, but you get 15 starter decks. And for the most part, they're passable. Like, they're not terrible decks. Like, they're good enough to at least take on most people. And then they have this really neat mechanic where every time you open a pack of cards, you gain wild card points. So every so many packs you open, which you can unlock with gold that you gain from just doing dailies or playing the game normally, just like Hearthstone. But you get these wild card points, which you can just spend to buy any cards you want. So it is very easy to put together a passable deck for $0 reduce.
Yeah.
You're really speaking to me, Nightson. Really speaking to me.
Well, I've been kind of impressed with how much fun I've been having just like playing with the starter decks. I made it to, like, I don't know, Silver 2 or Silver 1 or something today. Just on starter decks, so I haven't, like, I mean, I think I made a couple modifications, but very minimal, and it was all from cards that I already got just from playing the game, so I haven't had to pay for anything. I've had an okay win rate, but the thing about the game, about playing it online like this, that I find the most interesting is I'm not really great at theory crafting, so the, like, deciding how a deck should work before playing it never really worked for me. So, like, it didn't make sense for me to go and buy a bunch of cards to build a deck unless it was off a list, right? Of course I could do that, but I wasn't going to look at a bunch of cards and build a deck from them and without having to refine it constantly over, hundreds of plays. And so now I'm actually getting tons of plays on these decks and learning how they work and finding the weak points and finding the strong points and, what are my win conditions, just over trial and error, which is something I wouldn't have gotten because I don't have the time to go sit at a Magic shop, and I would have become discouraged if I couldn't constantly be messing with it or fixing it up, sitting at a shop. So, so that's been really cool.
That's always been my problem with Magic. Like, I would love coming up with, like, combos and deck builds and everything, but then, like Nightson was saying, we were talking the other day about it, where you actually have to play the decks once you build them to see how they work, and the playing of the Magic was never the good part about the Magic to me. Like, you could give me boxes of cards and I'm perfectly happy to sit there and tear apart booster packs and build decks and all this stuff. Like, yeah, in theory, this should work. And then as soon as I play it, it's like, oh, I don't like this part. I just want to build decks and let other people play the game.
Yeah, see, I just want to play the game.
Well, I was playing Sims 4 this week. I love Sims. It's like a guilty pleasure. Kurt and I were talking about how like Civilization is one of those games where you start playing and then you just lose like hours of play. That's totally Sims for me. Because it's like building your house and then doing all the relationship-y stuff, and like my Sim just had a baby, and my Sim's last name was Penn, so I named her son Ben Penn, because why not?
So here's the important question. Have you murdered any of your Sims yet by putting them in a murder house?
I have not this time around. I definitely have in the past watched all the different ways you can murder a Sim.
Swimming pool.
Yeah, put someone in a swimming pool, take the ladders away. But I have not this time around. I'm really enjoying the little changes that they've made. like with building a house, you don't just have to buy like the furniture and build the room and stuff. They have like pre-designed built rooms that you could just like go buy a whole room. It's like, oh, everything in this room is going to cost you $1,500 dues, and I'm just going to plop
I would be
this
sold
gorgeous
on that concept.
Right,
Yeah.
me too.
I don't have any interior decorator skills whatsoever. So you tell me this room cost me X dollar dues, and I'm going to get these benefits out of it. Sold.
Yes, I kind of like it because they have like probably, I don't know, it's like 7 or 8 different designs. So there's very goth looking rooms, very Victorian looking rooms, very country, very whatever, like a lot of very different looking, futuristic, very weird looking rooms. And so you can design a whole house in the same look or have each room look completely different or whatever. And what I was liking is that I could like buy a room and then be like, oh, I don't actually like this refrigerator. I'm going to sell it and put a better fridge in or whatever. But I don't have to go through and design every aspect of the room, which
That's
is
pretty cool.
kind of neat. Yeah.
I kind of want to buy you House Flipper Simulator and let you play that and just watch you. Because
I'm sure it exists.
No, it's literally a game.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
is.
thing.
No, every time I start to play The Sims, it turns into like a do-it-yourself version of Clock Tower. So I just play like Deception.
I mean, this Sims is yeah, I love The Sims, and it's on sale right now through Origin for $5 dues.
Yeah, for Sims 4.
For Sims 4.
Really?
Normally $40 right now.
Yeah.
It is $5 dues. So
But I
you
bet
have
there
to
are
install
42
the-
expansions.
Yeah, you
there
have to
are a
install
whole
the
bunch of
Origin
expansions,
launcher.
but the expansions are also on sale. So most of them cost somewhere between $5 to $15, depending on the expansion.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm going to buy
That's where they
those.
get you.
but the base game is $5, and I don't have any of the expansions installed, and I'm still really enjoying like the new content. It's a lot easier to like move around the neighborhood and stuff, where like before you were kind of locked into the place where your house was, and then you had to say like, I want to travel to wherever. But like this is very open world, like you can move around anywhere, and there's 3 different cities, and so you can move within like around the cities too, so you're not just locked into your neighborhood. It's actually
You
really
can like, move your camera. Can't you like pan it over the city and everything? You don't have to physically move. You can go see what's happening at your neighbor's house.
Yeah. You can just go to your neighbor's house next door and go see the people that are there and hang out without having to like.
You know you can do that in real life too, and it's just as creepy.
Yeah, but then I have to
I know
talk to
where-
people.
I know where last week's paycheck is going.
All $5 of it.
The other cool thing is there's a lot more skills. Like instead of there just being like a art skill that encompass like all the different arts, there's a violin skill, a guitar skill, a piano skill, a painting skill. Like everything is split up into separate skills. So just because my sim is good at the guitar doesn't mean she can sit down at a piano, which is kind of neat.
So I heard you say you said violin. I heard violence.
Yep,
skill?
I heard violence
violence
too.
skill.
Yeah, let's get that
And
on
I was
that
like, this is a
violence
very
skill.
different
It was
thing than I
amazing.
remember.
What's the name of your house? Thunderdome.
We train the violence skill in this house.
2
Get
Sims
in the
go with
pit.
the 1 Sim comes out.
I think the major difference that
Go
I
in that cave
found.
and fight a wolf. If you come out, you win.
I think the major difference that I found, besides like the building stuff, is a lot easier to use. Like not just buying the rooms, but editing the house at all is a lot easier to use. The best part is having multiple Sims in one family is easier to manage. You're not like, oh my god, this one's gonna shit themselves, and this one's gonna pass out in the street, and this one's gonna die from hunger, and like it's a lot easier to manage multiple Sims. I feel like in the newest
AI is
version.
probably improved quite tremendously.
Yeah. So anyway, so Oreztes, what have you been playing?
Well, I finished Dragon Quest XI finally, and then I
Yay.
started playing Shining Resonance. Which
What's
I'm
that?
gonna have to ask right off the jump. Any relation to Shining Force?
I believe it's like the same type universe thing. It's not a strategic or tactical.
Oh, never mind. I'm out.
grid-based. Yeah, it's not that. But I think it's the same. I think it's kind of like the Tales games. How there's like a billion different tales of everything. I think so. I'm not quite sure. It's been a long time since I played Shining Force 2. But yeah, I started playing Shining Resonance, and it's like I got this version where it's got the original, and then it's got the refrain version, because apparently there's like a big music portion of this game. And the refrain version is like, it's got a couple of DLC characters that came out in Japan and stuff. And when you start it, it's like, hey, if you want to play the original game, just start the original mode. And if you want these 2 DLC characters that weren't really baked into the story, it won't really make a lot of sense if you're using them according to the story, because, spoiler, they're bad guys. But you can have them in your party. It's cool if you play this version. And I was like, well, reality, I'm never going to play this game a second time, so I'm just going to jump straight in to the refrain version. But I started the original version because I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it, the right way. So I started doing that, played through, had about 2 hours on my save. And then today I was like, I'm going to do the refrain version. I'm never going to go back and play this game a second time. Lucky I put 2 hours into it to begin with. And so I just started skipping through all the cutscenes. And I didn't realize that my original save had about 2 hours of playtime on it. It took me literally 12 minutes to get to that same spot today. And I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of story.
Wow.
I didn't realize how much anime was watching the first 2 hours of that game.
Jeez.
But yeah,
Wow.
it seems pretty interesting. There's like a lot of music. Apparently you can make a band with your little compatriot dudes, and the one chick has a harp that's a bow, and the other chick has a lance. It's got a flute in the handle or something. I don't know.
That seems really inconvenient to hold.
Mhm.
I don't know how it works, man. The one guy's got a shining dragon inside of him. It's anime, dude. I don't know.
I mean, at least make it a didgeridoo.
Yeah.
Those are at
It's
least a hardwood.
Yeah, I forget, whatever. But yeah, it's fun. It's a JRPG like I like. So I play a lot of those.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, now we're going to move into our spotlight topic, which is kind of everything we're looking forward to in 2019. We're going to cover a bunch of different topics about stuff that's releasing this year that we're excited about. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to talk about the future of Pixel Scandal and some super cool announcements we have for us about the show. So let's start off with talking about video games that are releasing this year. Endo, why don't you take us away, since you have the majority of the excitement for video games here.
I know.
Yeah.
Just
I'll
bundle all of them
go
into one
through them
announcement.
I'll go through them brief. The
I mean,
first
there's a
one
lot
was-
of cool stuff coming out, so I mean,
And there is.
yeah.
And with the way that game publishing works now, about games so far in advance.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, there's like already a slate for 2019.
It's
but
hard
I
to
have
get
to-
excited about something when it's actually coming out, and it's not
Yeah.
like, okay, I've got to wait 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
right.
I mean, I left off about 8 things off of this list. So,
So real quick before you start, how many of these have you pre-ordered? And have you not learned anything about pre-order?
Technically, 2 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I know.
So the first one is free to play, so didn't pre-order anything.
But it also came out 15, 20 years ago.
It did. Yeah, Dark Age of Camelot is officially releasing a free shard next Saturday on the 12th, called Phoenix, which is a casual version with a lot of like 1 million quality of life changes to Dark Age of Camelot. It takes like all of the horrible travel out of the game. There's teleporters, there's upgraded XP, there's increased movement speed, increased mount speed. You can train from anywhere. Like, it basically casualizes Dark Age of Camelot to be more friendly
That's how
than it
scandalous.
was. What's that?
How scandalous.
I mean, I don't know. It feels well. I don't think most of the people who play Dark Age of Camelot really mind. Everyone I've talked to is like, yeah, this is great. Like, because here's the thing: every time you level in Dark Age of Camelot, you have to train. So you literally get a level, and then you'd want to go back to town. It's a long huff. So now you can just train, keep going with your group and your friends and stuff like that. Like, that alone is a huge selling point for everyone. But I was really surprised how many people are excited about it. So we formed a guild today because they're doing a stress test. And we created a guild called Pantheon Waiting Room. Because it's essentially a guild with a ton of the Pantheon people from the Pantheon community who are going to play around with this as we wait for, which I guess will be my next game. I'll just jump down to it, is the Pantheon Alpha. We were told we were hoping that Pantheon Alpha was going to be released in fourth quarter last year. It didn't happen. We're really hoping that the alpha is going to get released sometime in the summer of this year. The game is developing really, really well. Super excited to share something. I'm going to actually share it with Nightson right now because I've been kind of excited to tell him about this. They implemented a new feature to the game from Final Fantasy XI, the element chains. So, like, Shaman applies water to a creature with a dot, and then a sorcerer casts a lightning on it.
Oh,
it
nice.
Creates an elemental effect. So, there is strategy to spell chaining with your casters and stuff like that. So, that's been implemented in the game. Pretty cool. So, to give some more, strategy to the combat system. So,
Dungeon Defenders 2 did that for a minute, and then they took it out.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And
it was too powerful. Was the problem?
Oh,
Yeah, it was. The water and the lighting was really super powerful.
Yeah, it was your only option ever for anything.
Yeah,
I
it
know.
was broken.
It was amazing. That's why we all played it.
So really hoping for Pantheon Alpha to come out. The game will not be released this year. It's just not going to happen. Hopefully 2020 sometime, probably third or fourth quarter of next year is when we're looking for an official launch. But alpha is when people are going to start getting in there, and we're going to see more about. Our NDA will get the NDA will get loosened up. Hopefully.
Yeah.
The next one is one that I have pre-ordered. Is the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's my favorite Resident Evil game. I love the original 3 Resident Evils. I love the first 4 actually, but Resident Evil 2 is absolutely my favorite of all time. And the remake is looking absolutely incredible. They've made a lot of cool changes to it, cinematically and storyline and stuff like that. I'm hoping it's not terrible. I think it will be great though. But I did pre-order that for PC.
Can't wait to see Tofu in 4K.
I don't know if they're gonna have Tofu.
Well, then
Like,
you
I don't
just
know
canceled my pre-order, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if all the bonus. I don't know if all the bonus stuff at the end is gonna be in. But we'll see. I don't know. The next one is Cyberpunk 2077. I think
I'm so
all of
excited
us
about that.
pretty psyched about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
They released like a 2-hour or an hour 45-minute gameplay video, and my jaw was on the floor like the whole fucking time. It's beautiful. What they're doing with the storyline is cool. Thematically it fits, and it feels like they really went for it. And it's such a drastic departure from like The Witcher, right? To do like Cyberpunk, but man, they apparently really, really went for it. They're not shying away.
They do not believe in half-assing anything.
They do. They really don't.
So the trailer looks kind of open world. Are they gonna do like multiplayer, like Grand Theft Auto style, GTA 5
Interesting.
style?
No one knows. What I do know is they have contracted on working with a company to implement multiplayer features. No one knows what those features are yet. Yeah. But in that 1 hour and 45-minute video, they did say that they have contracted some really talented people to implement multiplayer features. Is it going to be a cooperative thing? Who knows? It'll probably be a fucking battle royale. Who knows?
Yeah,
but there's going to be something, right? Hopefully it is some form of co-op, 2-player co-op. I would love that, but that's such a hard thing to pull off with a large-scale game like that.
I think it'd be really neat. I mean, hell, even if it was just like sign up for heists or like or runs, right? Like if you were just going to do a mission. Like sign up as a whatever, and I use Shadowrun terms for everything because that was my introduction to Cyberpunk. But what are the Cyberpunk classes? It's not important. But yeah, that'd be really neat if you could like sign up to go on runs and do that as your multiplayer when you're not doing your story mode.
Yeah.
My last one is another one I think I share with a few people is Division 2. We're looking forward to Division 2. We were really disappointed with Division 1. We've talked about it previously. We were really disappointed with the Division 1 launch. We circled back to it several months later and certainly saw that they were doing some really dramatic attempts to kind of like get the game back, get its legs back. And I think we all mostly agreed that they did. They pulled it off. They've done some really tremendously good content for the game. They got it to a really good place. And because of where the state of Division 1 is now, I think we're really psyched and hopeful that they've learned all those things and they're going to implement those and push it further with Division 2. So we're more optimistic about Division 2 and the launch, and so we're pretty excited about it.
Sweet.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
Just to add on to that, yeah, I think with what Division was capable of correcting, it's going to say so much more about what they're going to be able to do with Division 2, knowing that they have a grasp on what the community really wants and how, to play off of that in the development. And
I really hope that they move away from the gear set emphasis a little bit, and they do a little bit. They kind of jump a little bit more into the Diablo realm, where there's more just uniques to mission match with the set pieces and things like that. Because it seemed like Division 1 was way too set centric. So it was like you're always wearing these 4 sets, this set of 5 pieces of gear, and you were constantly just rolling stats on them. I'd like to see some more diversity in the gearing. To where like, oh shit, guys, I got this badass orange thing that's for the, I'd like to see more of that. There was some of that, but I think they should increase it a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Nightson, you're up.
So, as for me, my big one I'm looking forward to is Psychonauts 2. I was such a huge fan of the first game.
Hell yes.
Jeez, on the original Xbox?
Yeah, it was Xbox, the original one.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, so that
What?
long ago.
It was on PlayStation 2?
Yeah, that's what I have it on.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
if it was
I didn't know
Xbox,
that.
then it would have been PS2.
Oh, I thought it was an exclusive. That's cool.
And so that was super awesome. And so now they're finally getting around to making a sequel. And I can't wait. I hope it isn't terrible. I hope, 15 years is not.
I actually played Psychonauts, the first one, for the first time this week, because I had not played it previously, and Nightson gifted me a copy so I could try it out. And the cutscene to get into the actual game at the beginning of the game is ridiculously long. That is probably my only complaint. Like, the game itself was really fun, but I was sitting here trying to get to the actual, gameplay part of it, and 3.0 kept making fun of me because I kept, going, oh my god, there's another cutscene! So.
I have to Google this because I think I'm pretty sure I played this.
And then on top of that, well, we'll give Handor here a second to take a look at that. Yeah, anyone who has not played Psychonauts, they hand out free copies like candy, or you can get it for $1 in any bundle that has ever been made.
Yeah.
Is it on Steam?
It's on Steam. It's on Humble.
I'm sure Nightson has 4 keys for you.
Yeah, I believe I have at least 2 or 3 keys.
Yeah,
spare.
he can hook you up.
Yeah, I'll hook you up
me.
after the stream.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's a 3D
when I said I
platformer.
didn't have it. He was like, "Oh, here!" And before I could finish, being like, "Oh, cool," he had already sent me a code for it. So it's like he's got candy to just throw out at people. You get a Psychonauts, and you get a Psychonauts.
I want to give TP in chat props on clever wordplay.
Yeah,
you made us all Google it.
Thanks for rallying us all.
Impossible.
We're like, wait a minute.
So I feel like someone should read
found her
what
phylactery?
TP Poker wrote, so that people will know what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
it was very. I was sitting here I'm not even going to pay attention to that because I cannot handle this information right now.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, and may I say, this stream is stellar. Well, we appreciate that. Great hosts, great content, awesome interaction. My question is in 2 parts. Now that Betty White has passed, do you think they will still reboot the Golden Girls sitcom? And all of us Googled to make sure Betty White was still alive.
And I'm running on a calculator, so I can't actually Google things while we're on stream. And so I'm here going, please let one of these 5 guys that I'm sitting here doing this with confirm that this is wrong and not true.
I am happy to say Betty White is alive and with us according to Google.
What a shitty way to start off 2019.
Oh,
Right?
no, please.
Jeez.
Betty White
She's
is
an immortal. She can't die.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be
Can't
fine.
die. Oh my
And of
God,
course,
that
they will
was
still
great.
reboot Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Nothing is sacred. Everything will be rebooted eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only 6,
Alf will be
6
rebooted.
ideas. I'm
Please
still
don't
waiting
do
for the
Alf.
Alf reboot.
Alf reboot will happen.
All right, back on track here though.
I'm excited about Alf reboot in
I know.
2019.
I am too. Shut up.
No, look.
We want Alf.
Okay, fine. That'll be our TV thing that we're excited about. Alf.
Fucking love Alf
Not
and
TV.
No.
Mork and Mindy too. All right.
And
Anyways,
and to finish off video games, I'm not too excited about the game itself. Anthem for that BioWare is coming out. I really probably won't check it out unless it's got some pretty rave reviews.
Yeah.
But I dear hope
wait
it
and see.
doesn't fail. I really hope it doesn't fail because BioWare is very near and dear to my heart for a million years. And I really would not want them to crash and burn, especially after Mass Effect 3 died so miserably.
Mhm.
Yeah, Andromeda, sorry. And then
I liked Andromeda. I had
it
fun
wasn't
with
bad, but it was a buggy mess at launch.
Yeah.
They fixed a lot of it, but it took them way too long to get to it, so it just killed them. The reviews killed them. And
it was clearly rushed.
yeah.
It's just
BioWare, if you ever see this, I want you to know that Nightson has written in our show notes, please don't suck. So if you have to BioWare, just spend an extra little amount of time on it, man.
The idea of this game,
just for Nightson.
the idea of Anthem is amazing.
Mhm.
By all intents and purposes, on paper, it sounds like a lot of fun. But I agree with Nightson. It's a wait and see, and hope.
All right,
because I
Oreztes.
still want to see Dragon Age, and
Oh,
Dragon
yeah.
Age is like I'm talking about games that have been
Yeah.
announced that are still a million years out. I think they said something like 4 years, 5 years out from now for the next
Mhm.
Dragon Age game, but that'll die real fast if Anthem
Yeah.
fails.
Right.
Well, there's a speculation that they're going to be rushing Elder Scrolls 6 now that Fallout 76 failed so hard. And I really,
They should probably not do that.
Yeah, they shouldn't, but was it Activision, BioWare? Activision, doesn't Activision own everybody, and they're just ruining gaming industry right now?
No, I think that's
I'm pretty sure
pretty sure
what I
that's
heard.
EA.
Pretty sure
No,
that's
it's
online.
It's Activision too.
Well, EA was the one. No, EA is the
EA is
BioWare. EA is BioWare though.
Yeah.
They are ultimately the ones behind the Mass Effect fun times.
Well, I'm going to take this
Whoa.
moment to just say,
Sorry, guys.
support indie developers. Go to itch
Yeah.
and just buy indie games.
Yep.
But not too much, because then they'll become AAA developers and start ruining the industries.
And then EA and they'll buy them out.
And the process continues. Just keep supporting
EA was
indie devs.
EA was an indie dev too.
E-Way.
Yeah.
E-Way, are you piglatting us?
Anyway, and to follow up on TP Poker's part 2 of his question, I would like to see a reboot of Small Wonder.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I wanna
TP
see a
Poker
reboot
wants
of
to
a
see
real
Mr.
one.
Belvedere.
Which was
they
the
do a
one?
reboot of Reboot?
Which
So
was
meta.
a reboot of Reboot. They did a reboot of Reboot. And it
No,
looks
a
awful.
real one. It's
It looks
absolutely
so
terrible.
bad.
I want
I'm
nothing.
just saying they did it.
It
Yeah, I
looks
want a real
terrible.
one.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching the
That
reboot of Reboot. How do you ruin Reboot? It seems crazy to me.
Quite
that you ruin
easily,
it.
apparently. It seemed very effortless, in fact.
Okay. Who here remembers a show I used to watch with my father? It was called Smothers Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
With the
That
yo-yo
did not
guys.
make it to Canada.
Well, if we're going to talk about TV, I'm excited for the final of Game of Thrones finally this spring.
Oh,
if we're going to talk
finally
about
getting
TV.
our finale?
We did not put TV on our list of things we're excited
not.
about, but I'm very excited to finish Game of Thrones. Like, just be done with it.
No,
Because I don't want any more of it.
I need to lock myself in a room and literally watch the
There's,
last 3 seasons.
3 more books, and they're only doing 1 more season. As long as Arya does not die, I'll be okay with it.
Honestly, just the completionist in me is just glad that like it's ending so that there's a like okay, it's done.
Yeah.
Like it's okay that the books are gonna go on and the story continues in that way, but I feel like sometimes shows go on too long and they start to get shitty because they went on too long. Walking Dead. And so like I
yeah.
just really appreciate it when a show is like, we're a really great show. Let's end it now while we're still doing well.
Mhm.
I have to say, real quick, I can never remember his name, but Walking Dead was fantastic up until the point that the guy who was the father of
Herschel?
no, from Supernatural. The father from Supernatural.
Oh yeah.
When he moved to Walking Dead, I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
it's
No,
not because,
I
know
agree.
it's not because he's a bad actor. It's
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a reason to not have to remember my parents' HBO Go account anymore.
Sam and Dean Winchester. All I could think of was their real names.
Yeah.
I really dig
Jason.
Supernatural.
So-
but I am so far behind. I'm at like season 8.
Kind of bringing this back
Oh, I love
around
it.
to focused. Oreztes, you had one last video game on our video game list.
Oh yeah, and we had a suggestion.
Hold
from
on,
Chad
I can't
about
wait till
video
they reboot Supernatural. By the way,
Dude, you
It's
can't
still
reboot
running.
Supernatural.
How do you reboot a 13th season show?
I know they're on
Let
like
it
18
die!
seasons. No, dude, Supernatural that's like
It would
it's
not
gonna
be.
be
If I had
wouldn't
a
be
dollar for
reboot.
every time those characters got resurrected, I could literally buy a
Oh
car.
my god. Okay,
They've
so here's
rebooted
another
rebooted
thing.
themselves, guys.
It's not a reboot. It's a spinoff.
It's a sitcom, and it's the same characters, but they play their real selves from that alternate world where they go over and without powers and magic doesn't exist. and it's just them being bros.
No, it's like a spinoff where they're all
Loki
Loki.
world. It's Loki
it's a
doing
Loki
it.
thing.
Oh god, it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
Loki.
yeah.
Oh, friggin' can't stand Loki.
It's all musical
Although-
episodes. I hate it.
I like
Keep
those
keep
episodes.
watching.
I know we're
Yes.
like way back.
I think
like
season 8 maybe.
yeah,
Sorry.
we're at like season 8.
It's a guilty pleasure. I still watch it, but seriously, like
I know.
It's
No,
fine.
I have to
That's
be in the
the
right
thing, though,
mood to watch that show though.
There's nothing else like it to watch. So like, I feel like I have anything else like it. So
Well, there was
I
like
just
a
deal with it.
boom of all those kinds of shows with Grimm, and there was a couple others just like it, where it was Monster of the Week type shows. And now I feel like we've got like a dearth
Yeah.
of Monster of the
I
Week.
would
shows.
Busy
love
Drone
for there-
Orville is literally a sleeper, amazing fucking
Oh,
show.
yeah,
and
that show is
everyone
so
needs
great.
to watch it.
That show is so great.
It's getting more the next generation every episode.
It
feels
is.
like it's TNG with like actual humor. It's
Yeah.
really
It's
Oh, okay,
it's
well then-
TNG that's not taking itself seriously.
right.
is
It's legit
Orville,
good though.
TNG
Orville
took itself
on Netflix?
seriously?
I don't know.
It was trying to be a serious sci-fi show, and Orville is like, haha, dick jokes, and you're okay with it.
Exactly.
All right.
So do I need to go to whatchamacallit for that then? My Amazon?
I don't know where you.
I don't know
you
where
can get
what
Orville,
streaming service
but
because it's
you
on
definitely
regular.
try to
TV.
find it because it's real good.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll check it out.
and it's coming back
I
for
would-
season 2, which means it's so good it got picked up
It's on
again.
Hulu, I think.
It's a
I would love
Fox
for
show.
that to
Hulu?
be
I've
a
got
reboot of the Dresden Files TV show.
Oh,
because
but
it
good.
could work.
But, like,
yeah, I mean, it couldn't be.
all
any
right,
worse.
fine.
It would not
Reboots.
be
We need to
good.
do a whole episode
All
on
right,
reboots.
we'll do a whole episode on reboots. Let's move on because we could talk about TV all day, guys. So back because
Legend
like
of
seriously,
Heroes.
TV is the one subject that all of us kind of agree on all of the wonderful and awful things that are out there. So
Doogie
we'll definitely have to spend some time. They just rebooted that, but they're calling it something else. Anyway,
Yeah, they
Lemony
did.
Snicket's series of unfortunate events
they already
is the
do.
new Doogie Howser.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
I think, are you talking about the
Oreztes.
doctor?
Oreztes,
Yes.
talk about Legend of Heroes: Tales of the Cold Steel on PS4, please.
They're just relaunching. They're doing like remastered versions of Legend of Tales of Cold Steel 1 and 2.
I have never heard of that game in my life.
Of course you haven't. They're like Japanese RPGs. They came out on PS3
Oh, okay.
a few years ago, but now they're releasing updated versions on the PS4. I think later this month. Actually,
Like that Valkyrie profile.
Yes, dude.
thing.
Valkyrie. I love Valkyrie Profile, but the new one is not like the original.
That's too bad.
Valkyria Chronicles. Is that the one you're talking about?
I wish I could have got into Valkyria Chronicles, but I never had a PlayStation in those days. So
Well, 4 is out. You can play that one. You have a PlayStation now, right?
no,
Do you have Xbox One?
no. The PlayStation's ran out in 3 minutes on Black Friday, so I did not get a PlayStation.
The Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, I was gonna buy a Spider-Man one. They didn't have them. Moved on.
You're like, not worth it. Spider-Man or nothing at all.
I told you could borrow mine if you wanted to play something. It literally hasn't been booted up in like 4 months.
Yeah, but you live like 4 blocks away.
That's so far.
People used to walk further than that to change the channel.
Yeah, I do want to. I do want to answer just another busy drone in chat. They asked about BattleTech. If any of us are super excited about the new BattleTech stuff,
Yeah.
I am not a big. I don't know a lot about BattleTech. I don't know if any of us are big BattleTech fans.
If it is
Bit of a
FASA,
heel?
I am a fan. basically. Like
Okay.
any of their books, anything that they've done, I've always been a fan of. So
Nice.
Yeah, I never got into the Meg stuff
I need to get a Switch, by the way.
except for Metal Gear.
Yeah. Well, I know
Anyways.
just
You
another
play
Visitron
MechWarrior?
talks about BattleTech a lot on their
No.
channel, so
Yeah,
definitely
I'm a big
check them
fan.
out if you're a fan of BattleTech.
I actually watched Busy Joe for like 2 hours playing a Mech game the other day. Though.
So
Is this
let's
streaming
move
MechWarrior?
along here from video games into movies. Now, there's a ton of movies coming out this year, and we're not going to go through all the ones that we're like, yeah, we're going to go see those. These are just the ones we're actually excited that are coming out. For me personally, I love X-Men. If someone's like, who's your favorite? What's your favorite, like, superhero, like, whatever?
Nightcrawler.
It's always like X-Men characters. Like I love the whole X-Men universe and everything about X-Men. So I'm very excited about Dark Phoenix coming out. I really
can't be worse than the last one.
it can't be worse than the last one.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't hate the last one.
and it comes out on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day.
Oh, but we're going to be at Strategicon.
We are
And
going to
by
be at
we, I
Strategicon.
mean you guys.
Dude, you're coming to Strategicon. Anyway, we'll argue about that later. But yeah, I'm excited for Dark Phoenix to come out. Obviously, we will not be seeing it opening weekend because we'll be at a game convention, but I am very excited for that.
Can I just say the two most probably well-known series of Marvel, at least to me, in the time when I read comics pretty religiously, was the Infinity series and the Dark Phoenix saga, and they're both like right around the same time. Like,
Right.
how weird is that, though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love
I'll-
Dark Phoenix.
I'll admit two things right now. That is one, a lot of people put a lot of, they trash talk some of the X-Men movies or some of the Wolverine movies. I've liked every single one of them.
Me too.
And on top of that, I will say Tobey Maguire was not a bad Spider-Man. So anyways, go on.
No, I
don't know,
I saw something that Kevin Smith did. Kevin Smith just recently put out a video, and I say recently, I think it's a couple months old. Maybe a little newer. I don't remember. I literally just found it on YouTube. But he talked about all the different Spider-Mans over the last 30, 40 years, like in media. And what he said was Tobey Maguire was an amazing he was an amazing Peter Parker. Terrible
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to
And
be
that-
fair, the complaints of Spider-Man for Tobey Maguire were actually Sam Raimi problems. They weren't actually Tobey Maguire problems.
Well, no, like he didn't have the smart ass.
Yeah.
Like
He was too goobery.
I actually really like this new kid.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I really
he's
like the
perfect.
new
Yeah,
one.
he's awesome.
So, and I'm guessing that Nightson put the other movie on here.
yeah, it kind of goes without saying, but we can't not mention Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's.
I just rewatched that yesterday.
There's like all
That'd be the other
these
one.
all these superhero movies out, and it's like I think pretty much everybody can agree that Marvel is just way better than DC at all things movie related.
Yeah.
But when I was younger and I was like really into comics, like big part of my collection that I actually purchased myself, like instead of just inheriting from, family members and stuff, were all like Image comics from the early 90s, mid 90s.
Oh.
Same here.
Lobos, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It was the more
And,
mature
uh,
stuff.
well, because I was super into like Battle Chasers was amazing, and like Crimson. I still
Savage
have
Dragon.
I still have like the first probably 25 issues like of Spawn. Just
I have Pit
bagged
number
and
2 right
boarded.
over here.
I love
Yeah.
Spawn.
So I have like all these Image comics that I loved when I was younger, and there's been like 2 Image Comics movies. The Spawn movie was horrible. I wish
They're
they would
remaking
do a
that.
good
They're
one.
redoing Spawn.
That's
the
what
movie.
I heard, and I'm terrified. The series on HBO was really good.
Yeah.
Like the cartoon, the animated series of Spawn was awesome. But like, I just
Yep.
wish they would come out with like a really awesome, just Image Comics movie. And I wish they would do Battle Chasers. That was my favorite series ever. It was so awesome, just high fantasy.
Yep.
Speaking of Marvel superhero movies, if you haven't rewatched Blade recently, it really holds up.
You know what? I had a friend of
The
mine
first
tell me
Blade
that,
was actually really solid.
Yeah, the first one was super good.
I had a friend of mine tell me the other day that Ghostbusters doesn't hold up. I'm
It-
like,
Uh,
I watched.
You need
I
better
watched that, like-
friends.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I watched that like once a year. That and like Back to the Future. I think I watched.
I get a lot of shit with Ghostbuster references when people ask me, like, name me one movie where the sequel's better than the original. And I always get crucified because I actually loved the Ghostbusters 2 more.
Me too. I always love the sequel.
I think the sequel was really, really good.
Denzel Washington could really hold me up.
I think Ghostbusters 2 was solid. I think it's still not quite as iconic as the first one, but it's almost as good. Like, if someone said, I think the second one's better, I'd say, yeah, okay.
You wouldn't argue it. You'd be like, apples and oranges. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's move into books. Now, there's actually a ton of books coming out this year that I'm like crazy excited about. And Nightson actually put the one book I'm most excited about on here. So I'm going to give it away to you to talk about books.
I know which one that is.
Yeah, man.
That's the one I'm most excited about, too. I didn't look at the document 10 minutes before we started the show. So I didn't realize there was a book thing, but that would have been my answer.
Since they premised it, I'll just go to that one first. And that is, we're finally getting the next Dresden, like true Dresden book, which is Peace Talks.
Yeah.
If nothing weird goes wrong, and he keeps on schedule, it's supposed to come out for October-ish.
Yeah.
And stops wasting time with the other series he's doing that nobody remembers the name of.
Yeah, and his new wife, like, seriously, just, ignore her. Get back in the book.
We need you. What are you doing over there? Well, I mean, and the breakneck pace that he was releasing books in the middle of the series, there were years when we got 2 books in a year.
Yeah.
And then it dropped to, like, none.
None books.
Like, what?
None books.
None books.
And it's so funny because I only started reading the series after the most recent book came out. So I actually only have been not having any books to read for a year or two.
Right. Your gap isn't nearly as big as ours.
Wait, what?
See you, Drone. Don't work too hard.
Sexist much?
Thanks for coming out, Drone.
By the way, I just wanted to say thank you to End of Line because in chat he had said that he was the only horror nerd and then retracted that with actually Gigett's a horror nerd too, and I was like, I was gonna start typing.
I didn't know you were a horror nerd until our horror episode. So.
I know. We've been friends for this long and didn't know.
All right, and then on the topic of books that have been way too long waiting on a sequel, theoretically. It hasn't been formally announced, but it's finally started being written. The sequel to the final book in the Ender's Game series, which is Shadows Alive, should be coming out this year.
Didn't he release a chapter or something?
He's already released two or three chapters to his mailing list or whatever. Yeah. So it's for the longest time up until late last year, he's been like, I haven't even started it. It's too big. It's one of those. It's so long waiting that I don't even know to go with this kind of thing.
Right.
And he had just had all these other projects he was working on, and it honestly felt like it was one of those things that was probably just never going to happen. Yeah. And then out of the blue, he's like, here, mailing list, have 3 chapters of my book. Which is from what I understand, is supposed to be kind of a novella style thing, which will then grow into the full book, sort of like how the original Ender's Game was a novella that grew into the full book.
Nice. Well, cool.
Isn't the new Game of Thrones supposed to be this year too?
I've heard rumor of that, but I have not seen a release date for the new book.
Go ahead and hold your breath, and you'll see if you remain conscious.
I'm trying to. Railroad our Nerdcast tonight as much as I can. What did you guys think of the movies with Shailene Woodley? What was it? Divergence?
The Divergent series?
Yeah.
The first one was okay. They got a little weird after that because they started to diverge.
I am one of those books to movie hipsters that's like, the book was better. So the book was better.
Well, it's pretty much all.
Yeah, but
they changed major aspects of the books to make the third whatever the last movie happened. They changed major aspects of the book, and that, like, it's fine for me as a book lover if you cut stuff out for time reasons, but changing major plot points just to change major plot points is like, you bought a book to make a movie out of it for a reason. Why are you fucking it up?
So I have to say, Fictive in the chat says the book is always better. I tend to agree, except for the Hunger Games. I think the movies are better than the books.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the books for those two. We need to do a whole book to TV, book to movie. We need to do an episode of that.
I don't want to do that. That's going to be a whole episode of me raging shitty Ready Player One was and how much I hate Hollywood.
You can give thanks to what's her face for
Loot
for the
Is Loot what's her face?
No. Unless she was in Hunger Games.
Oh no.
Jennifer Lawrence, the girl that won America's hearts, man.
Yep.
Yeah. She was also Mystique. You want to talk about X-Men? At least that'd be on top.
Yes.
Gene is right. The Godfather movies
were better than the book.
Jaws were better than the books.
I figured I'd bring it all the way around, you know?
And
all right, Jaws is from a book.
So moving right along, let's move into RPGs.
This is where I can take a nap.
Well, this will go quick This will go quick as long as Kurt is not long-winded.
Well, the first one's not even mine.
The first one is not yours. The first one's mine.
Kurt's the most long-winded one of us here.
That's true.
No, that's me.
No, that's Kurt.
That's just.
Yeah, you just have a lot of pauses.
It's not mutually exclusive. You can share that shitty title.
It depends on what the topic is.
So our first RPG that we're excited about.
Getting out what it is that I'm.
Quiet, Handor. We're trying to do a show.
All right. The first RPG that we're excited about for this year, we've already talked about quite a bit on the show, so I'm not going to go too far into this, but it is the release of the new edition of Savage Worlds.
Woo!
I got an email actually yesterday, I think, from the Kickstarter peoples, and they're pretty much done with their revision of the book, changing all the things that all the fans from the first 5 iterations that they put out in December of all the you fucked this up and what about this and this isn't clarified and whatever. So the one that they just released, they said they're pretty sure is the one that's going to go to print. And we're supposed to start getting physical crap in June-ish. And then they're going to do a store release after that. So Gene wants to know what your pledge level was. Yeah, I went crazy balls with my pledge levels, so I've been getting a lot of PDFs.
Broken piggy bank level.
So many PDFs.
Real big. Fat Loot's big. Yep. So what I found out recently, because I apparently didn't read it all the way when I was looking at the Kickstarter, but
next week she gets to go to lunch with Shane Hensley.
Yeah, right? No, it comes with the signed deluxe book, but it also comes with the regular book too, so I don't actually have to touch the deluxe book at all. I can just put my signed copy on a shelf and then have
letterbox.
And then have you need to, a regular one to play with. So
I just realized I need to make you a false bottom frame with the glass on, so you can put your book in there.
Yeah. You should also make me a display for all my Doctor Who sonic screwdrivers.
Hold up,
because that would be awesome.
Yeah. You're only going to be here for a
what?
month.
Yeah, when you get here, we're never sending you back.
Yeah, we're just going to keep you, and you're going to make all the wood.
Just going to lock you in our non-existent basement. So anyway, that's the thing I'm excited about, is the Savage Worlds release this year. Because I'm totes going to run it. All right, Kurt, take it away.
All right. Okay, so this next one is not out yet. This is a Kickstarter that's going to happen at the end of January. It is Wolfspell by Epidai Ravachol and art by Shel Khan.
Wait a minute.
Why is that name familiar to me?
No, let's take bets on which 1980s board game he's going to turn into an RPG this time.
Okay, so Epidai Ravachol is the author of Dread and Worlds Without Master, which contains Swords Without Master in Worlds Without Master 3, if you're asking. It's Wolfspell. So if you read Worlds Without Master, there is a short story in the second one about old aging adventurers who turn into wolves, who transform themselves into wolves to solve some problem. And they wrote a goddamn game about it, and it sounds so cool. And it's got like a bunch of weird mechanics where you roll 2d6, and you take the difference. But, like, whichever, they have to be different colors because one is your wolf die and one is your humanity die. The higher one determines whether you go, like, a primal response to an action or a humane response to an action.
I do have to say that I love that this was our RPG section, and you're like, wait, but a Kickstarter.
It's an RPG Kickstarter.
Yes, but okay. Kurt, you did not tell everyone why it's releasing on January 20th and 21st.
Well, I didn't even tell them the date yet because I didn't get there yet. Okay, so... Everybody, this is awesome. On the evening of January 20th into January 21st, there is going to be something called a Super Blood Wolf Moon. A Super Blood Wolf Moon.
That shit's hella made up, Kurt.
Which is a confluence of a super moon, a blood moon, and a wolf moon, and it's called the Super Blood Wolf Moon. And so I added Epidaya on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey, are we gonna have Wolfspell so that we can figure out how to survive this most wolfy of occurrences?" and they were like, "Holy shit, that's when the Kickstarter has to be." So I got to pick when the Kickstarter is. You're welcome.
So
okay, Super Blood Wolf Moon is my metal band.
Yeah.
So if you have latent werewolf blood in you and you don't transform that night, it's not going to happen.
Nope, that's it. If it doesn't happen, it's not.
This is your one time. That's like, if it's going to happen, we get to figure out if we're all werewolves or not. Okay.
Yep.
Kurt, has anyone made an RPG yet about old RPG adventures that used to RPG, and now they're in a world where they have to figure out how to solve something?
I don't know what you're trying to ask me, but
he's talking about the meta of being RPG players. Basically,
so like adventurers sitting down to play a game.
It's basically Jumanji, the RPG.
Or like gamers going in to be the adventurers.
Yeah, Jumanji RPG.
Yeah,
I think
technically Dungeons and Dragons the cartoon is that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Dungeons and Dragons the cartoon, the RPG.
I don't know if there are any games that specifically state that, but I know I have heard a lot of people running. The characters are you. You've been sucked into a fantasy world. So yes, that's
what shitty person would do that.
Everybody does that. Everybody's like, this would be a good idea.
Boss Tanaka literally. Yeah, right. Boss Tanaka literally ran that game. Yeah. All right, Kurt, moving right along.
All right, so the next one that I'm excited about is...
Read it.
I'm not going to say that. I'm excited about Forest Hymn and Picnic by Cecil Howe. Yeah,
no,
by Cecil Howe.
That's not what it's called.
No, it is not Black Forest Ham and Picnic.
Which is what it says in the doc.
Forest Hymn
because you guys are dicks.
Picnic.
It will forever be ham.
Not ham.
I do have to say that Kurt accidentally called it ham the other day, and I squeed a little bit because I was like,
We've
gotten it in there. It's in his brain.
So Forest Hymn and Picnic is
and by Cecil Howe.
It is by Cecil Howe. It is a over the garden wall the cartoon Robin Hood style game where you play as either humans or animal folk or ghosts in a sort of like mystical wood, and you deliver mail and go on adventures and bake pies and
I'm very excited about this game.
It's really neat, but you join a pie eating contest. Those are the kinds of adventures you might see in a Forest Hymn and Picnic game. But it is based on Shadow of the Demon Lord. So it's got similar mechanics to Shadow of the Demon Lord, which if you are a fan of like old school D&D or OSR, Shadow of the Demon Lord is really awesome and definitely should check it out. But we can go into that in another time. But it takes out a lot of the like really gruesome parts of Shadow of the Demon Lord and keeps the like really awesome resolution mechanics and some really neat things. I also saw on Twitter that they there are like every chapter starts with like a song. There are several songs in the game written by someone who writes music. The birthday song has actually sheet music for how to play the song on pots, pans, and smashing bottles.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it because I love cutesy forest shit, and this is cutesy forest shit, so I'm super excited. Let's plan a party. All right, so the next thing on the list, and if you want to find links to any of this, you can of course check our show notes, or you can head to pixelscandal.com and look for the post from this. I might even be expanding on some of these items, but I'll be linking to everybody. So if you want to know more about these things, you can find them there.
And we might have more of an announcement about Forest Ham and Picnic and Pixel Scandal a little later.
We're gonna have a long episode tonight.
Yes, so hurry the crap up, Kurt.
Hurry
the fuck up,
We're already 10 minutes over, Kurt.
The next thing that I'm super excited about is For the Queen.
Yay!
For the Queen by Alex Roberts, who was awesome enough to come on our show a couple weeks back.
Yay!
I got to play this several times at Forest Ham and Picnic.
Kurt, you are not allowed to look at the chat.
Sorry, I'm
Keep talking to the people.
For the Queen is a storytelling game where you have a deck of cards with story prompts on them, and you kind of cycle through this deck answering the questions, and then everyone else around the table gets to ask follow-up questions to sort of collaboratively build this world and this journey that you go on with the Queen to go and end a war. And it's a really neat little game. It can be played with dozens of players. It can also be played as a more like intimate 3 to 4 person game and add some more RPG elements to it. The art, they finally showed us some of the art from the game, and it looks so good. I think we're gonna see that maybe like middle of the year, so I don't know, June, July time. But keep an eye on. If you want to know more, you can follow them on Twitter, or you can check out Evil Hat. It's being published by Evil Hat. So For the Queen. And then I have some other things that I'm super excited about here, but I don't want to drag this out. So
I love that you put them in a line as if not being bullet points made it shorter.
Yeah.
So I'll go and I'll talk about some of this stuff.
Sure.
So The Great American Novel, written by our wonderful friend Christopher Gray, I believe is coming out this year. I don't know, Kurt, you talked to him more recently than I did.
There's no date or anything, and I don't know when the Kickstarter is going to be, but it's definitely their his primary project.
He is working very hard to get that out as soon as possible, which is awesome sauce, because Kurt and I got to play in a beta test of it, in a 2-part beta test in November and December, and I am absolutely in love with that system. It feels like playing in a book, like it feels like, or in a novel. It feels like you're writing a novel as a group, and I really love that system. You get to kind of take narrative control, and it's great. You feel like a character in a book, and it really is a wonderful RPG. The next one is Demigods, written by Jason Mills, that you guys got to see us play 2 weeks ago in our side quests. That is currently in its beta, where you can request some of the beta stuff from his website right now. But I believe he's going to be trying to put that out this year as well. And Kurt, I'll let you go ahead and take over again.
Hack the Planet! So I should be back to Kickstarter called Hack the Planet, which is a Forged in the Dark game about it's sort of cyberpunk. It's a cyberpunk game in an like ecological wasteland. So the what is it called? Like weather. The weather has gotten so severe that we can't like go outside and crops don't grow and that kind of stuff. And so like we ended up with these corporate safe zones and stuff. It's Forged in the Dark, so it's super cool. I don't know. It's written by. Shit! I didn't write it down, and now I just forgot.
If you run it first, it's literally going to turn.
You broke up, so I didn't hear what you said there, Oreztes.
I said, if you ever run that for us, it's literally just going to turn into a hacker's game.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not that kind of hackers, but
my character's already zero. Sorry.
Done.
Also,
serial killer.
to interrupt you for a second, thank you so much, Endo. He posted the YouTube videos of the actual plays for Great American Novel that Kurt and I did with Gene and Win, and they're in chat. So if you want to watch the kind of a beta run of that, it's in chat now, and we'll put it in the show notes too.
If you do watch it, please like it and subscribe.
There you go. It's not on our channel. It's through Christopher Gray's channel.
Design goals for the game that he did around the same time. That you could check out on the YouTube video on that channel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So Fraser Simmons is the one who wrote Hack the Planet.
Nice.
There you
definitely go. check that out. And also Malice. I think I'm pretty sure the Kickstarter is going to be starting this year. I don't know when exactly.
I've seen a lot of coming soon type posts out of Monkey Fun Studio over the last couple months. So I've been impatiently waiting for that to release. So hopefully Malice will be coming out very, very soon.
Yeah, but friend of the show, Dave Kazay, is also putting out Malice this year. So I've been able to play that as well. It's super fun. It's based on the Story Pillar system from what's that? After Dark, I think is what it's called. Home by Dark, Home Before Dark, something like that.
I have unfortunately not gotten a chance to play it. I'm really hoping he's going to run it at Strategicon so I can actually get into a game of it. I've watched a game of it be played. I was exhausted and a little drunk, and so I kind of bowed out of my...
You mean you were conning?
Yeah. And so I got to watch it, but I didn't actually get to play in it. So I'm really hoping if you're listening, Dave, I'm really hoping that he's going to run it at Strategicon so I can actually play it this time.
What is Story Pillar? What'd you call it? Story Pillar?
Story Pillar, I think, is the name of the system that. You know what? I could look it up. I think it's either Home by Dark.
It's the
if
rule
you want,
system.
you can just link it, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is.
But that will be coming out from Monkey Fun Studios sometime this year. We don't have an exact date, but we will totally talk about it when it does go live, and that way you guys can get in on that because I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we'll for sure be talking about that one more.
For the 24-hour charity stream, I know he ran a town called Malice because I have it saved in my YouTube videos to watch it. One. Was that Malice?
That was Malice.
That's a town called Malice.
Okay.
Yeah.
The full name of the game is A Town Called Malice. Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 games bookmarked to watch, but it was one of the two.
Yeah.
It's a Nordic horror story game.
Yeah.
So
it checks a bunch of different boxes, but it's very, very cool. And yeah, it was on the Happy Jacks Rainbow Railroad charity stream. So we will definitely put a link in the show notes. So if you want to go watch, and it's just popped up in the chat. Thanks, Endo.
Yep.
So if you want to watch the gameplay of that, we will definitely link that later so you guys can go back and watch it. Yeah. But now we're going to move into what I consider to be the most exciting part of the show, which is the Pixel Scandal announcements for 2019. We have a lot of really cool things coming up this year. Obviously, this is not an extensive list because we keep coming up with ideas. It seems like every month we're like, oh, what about this? So this is just the stuff that we've come up with up to this point, and I'm sure there'll be more. But Kurt, why don't you start us off?
Okay. So we started Paper Scandal side quests last, in December. So we had 2 in December. One was technically our November episode.
That's what he keeps trying to tell me, so I don't get upset about scheduling.
Because it's once a month. But that's our series of guest GMs, guest facilitators,
Yay.
guest game runners to come and run games with us as players. And it gives us a chance to showcase some of the games we think are really cool. We get to get some people on here who some fresh faces in the stream. And it's honestly one of my favorite things about the show right now. Upcoming shows, we've got 4 booked. We've got Mutants in the Night, which we talked about at the beginning of the show. That's the Forged in the Dark game where you play mutants from basically, several years back. Mutants lost the rights to be human. You're no longer considered human. You are, but you're still considered citizens. So the cities that you reside in have to technically provide for you, but they've restricted you to these mutant safe zones. So you have these communities which are not really supported by the people in power, but are kind of left to you to take care of. Thanks, End of Line, for the sub. So it's left to you as the crew to go out and solve problems and take care of your community centers. It does a lot of really neat things. There's no, if you're familiar with Blades in the Dark, you have a playbook, which is your character, and then you have a crew, and the crew levels as well, and everyone is part of the crew. In this, you don't have a crew, but you have your community. And so different parts of the community, when you complete jobs for them, it improves that part of the community or gives them the resources to help you, and you get the game benefits that you would get from experience on a crew sheet from these community centers. So it's super community driven. It's about how you take care of those less fortunate. It's about marginalized communities fighting against a bigger power. I'm super excited to play it. DC did a bang up job with it. It's available for sale right now on their itch.io store, and I'll link to that in our show notes.
And I believe the players for that are going to be Kurt, End of Line, Nightson, and Oreztes. I think that's what we've got scheduled so far. So it's going to be a really interesting episode with those 4 guys.
I'm super excited. DC is running a stream of it on their channel as well. So if you want to get a glimpse of what the game looks like, you can check it out there, or just wait for ours. It'll be on the 20th.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's a special
that.
one because they just did their release and they were wanting to sort of get out and do some promotion, and so we put in an extra slot to get that in there. Our next episode of Side Quest is going to be Dave Kazay is going to run Dead Letters for us, which is it's a Night's Black Agents game where we're going to play postmen fighting vampires. I don't know. We haven't. Yeah, it sounds hilarious and awesome. And if you've ever seen Dave Kazay run a game, I can't like. He's a great GM and an excellent showman, and I'm super excited to get in there and play that game. So
I think I might
to play in a Dave Kazay game. So I'm
absolute highlight of my my Orcon was playing Spirit of 77 with him.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might have to get in on that.
Well, actually, I was gonna announce the players for that, which is Kurt and I, and Oreztes and Handor.
Yeah.
That's gonna be in that game.
So too bad there's not a slot left for you.
Yeah.
That last slot.
The fuck did that happen?
You've been drafted.
Well, actually, the reason that happened is I looked back at the last few games and was like, oh, Handor hasn't been in one in a while. I'm just going to put him in here because he will have missed
And
some
I'll
stuff.
tell him later.
And then I tell him later.
Tell him live.
I'm telling you now,
So now
you're going to be in the game at the end of the month.
And I just put my name in everything. 'Cause
That works.
Just like Kurt,
Yeah.
put his name in everything.
I've actually never played Night's Black Agents, so I don't know what to say about that. I know it's a vampire game, I think, but I'm gonna have to. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I put my name on everything because I feel it's my personal duty to try to break or
Stress
just
test.
throw wrenches. Yeah, throw wrenches into.
Well, keep on going, Kurt, because we got 2 more that we have to announce here.
All right. In February, so our normal time, that Dead Letters is going to happen on our normal side quest time, which is
the fourth Saturday of every month.
Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. So
Yes.
it's similar time as our Dungeon World game, but the 4th Saturday of the month. In February, the 4th Saturday of that month, we'll be playing with Christopher Gray. We don't actually know what game yet. That's to be determined. Probably Great American Novel. But
Maybe.
Keep an eye on that, Chris. I trust Chris. Whatever he wants to run, we'll be happy to play.
He's gonna play some red book box like D&D.
He
Well,
did
you know what?
offer some real a handful of suggestions, and all of them sound amazing.
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
just
yeah.
got to nail something down with him. But
Yeah, we'll lock it
I'm
down.
super excited to have my first BDSM experience with Mr. Gray.
Okay. I mean, that's separate from the show, so don't expect that in this show. But if Handor apparently is going to have a BDSM experience.
okay, and then in March,
in March we'll be playing Forest Ham and Picnic.
yay!
Well, I will interrupt real quick because Fictive Fun has given us a title for the episode. It's going to be Forest Ham and Picnic on Pickles Scandal.
Pickles scandal. There you go.
I like ham hackers.
Ham hackers.
That's good.
Because Hack the Planet and Forest Him and Picnic.
Yeah. It's a Forest Him.
But we're going to be playing Forest Him and Picnic by
March.
Cecil in March.
Yeah, Cecil's going to come and run it for us.
Yes, so we'll actually get to
there.
see that wonderful system that we keep talking about, and unfortunately making fun of the name, but that's just because, I mean,
it
we're
looks
horrible
so
people.
cute. If you
That's what we do.
If you love great art and just cool people, you need to go follow Sword Peddler on Twitter. I'll link to it, but go follow Cecil. Cecil's awesome, and he's been posting art from the game as it comes out. So
Nice.
definitely go check that out.
Cool. So moving right along here, Oreztes, you're up.
Yeah, this is new because they've never actually let me be in charge of a section before. So we're gonna immediately go to YouTube and pull up
And screw something up.
Yeah. No, so much to the chagrin of the internet as a whole, at some point this year, the Dungeon World actual play will be coming to an end.
Probably, would you say, like 3 more episodes, Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna put it at a hard 3 in case the story demands, but yeah, probably about 3 more episodes.
Yeah. So next on the agenda after the Dungeon World is over, Gigett is going to be running a Savage Worlds game beginning sometime in the summer of 2019, and by summer of 2019 we mean sometime after July, because it would be silly to schedule anything before the beginning of August.
This will be the new system, I think.
This will be the new version of Savage Worlds. I'm not 100% on what I have a really great idea, but I'm also getting a whole bunch of like setting stuff with the Kickstarter, and so I don't want to necessarily just like say this is what I'm running because I have this idea, because there might be something really cool in all that stuff that I'm getting.
It's
so
magic.
It's it's definitely going to be Savage Worlds, the new adventure edition.
Dibs on all the leadership feats.
Yeah, we'll certainly have to do a Savage Worlds episode in the future to go more in depth on the new edition.
And definitely when we do get to that, we'll do character gen and stuff so that you guys can see what that looks like.
I bet there are a lot of people that would like an episode fully walking through like all the changes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, the good thing about Savage Worlds is we tend to kind of have our own parts about the system that we prefer. Mm-hmm. So like I know Nightson is like super into all the magic-y and crafty bits, and I'm pretty much just nothing but leadership group stuff. Mm-hmm. And then Gigett's really good at optimizing light bows and 50 caliber rounds.
And murdering. Which chapter is the murdering children part?
I'm really good at murdering people in Savage Worlds. I'm like real good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then in the fall, I'm not sure exactly when that's going to be. But sometime in the fall, we'll be back with a cyberpunk game.
Yeah.
If I had to guess who was going to run that, I would say Nightson.
Handor.
It's probably going to be some sort of Shadowrun 5th edition thing. But I don't really know.
I may be running that. If Nightson wants to run something, that's you can do that. I won't stop you. But but I want to take a trip into the far future with our next campaign. So whatever it is, it'll be.
Yes, please. It's time. It's been a long time since we played.
What system?
Well, whether that's Shadowrun 5th or Hack the Planet, or something else.
Yeah.
Fate.
Yeah.
So we will have done fantasy, and then we'll do something in Savage Worlds. I'm leaning towards pulp, just because it's my favorite. And then we'll do some cyberpunk. So,
and then at some point, I'll run a game. It'll be super high-powered, anime-inspired, over-the-top, wire-fu action.
Don't believe
Coming
me.
to
Shit
you
like that all the time.
2035.
Yeah.
I know. I was gonna say, how many years is it gonna take to get that?
Oh no! All I have to do is
Exalted was a bit crunchy. Like I couldn't realistically expect any of you to learn or care about Exalted.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Kamigakari, that Kickstarter I was talking about.
Nice.
A few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about base? Somebody said something about crunchy.
I did back 1,000 Arrows.
That means lots of
if you want to
runes.
run 1,000 Arrows.
Oh,
you can do
gotcha.
I don't know if that's high enough power for me. I'm talking about charging up a fireball to blow up the moon.
Oh, that's different.
We did put a building
That's
on a
very
moon in
different.
an RPG once.
We did, but that was superhero.
That was superhero.
That's like American anime.
So moving along here, Endo, do you want to take the next section for us?
Sure. We are for Pixel Play series. We are eventually, when Handor and I's schedules can mesh together for a long enough time to sit through it. We're going to do a Let's Play of Shards of Darkness. We've kind of been planning it for a while. We had a little technical hiccup with our initial try, and how we were here too. So we're going to try a similar thing now that we've kind of learned a lot about how to do that better.
Yeah.
So we're going to get that recorded here pretty soon, and we're going to start releasing that series on YouTube. Gigett and Kurt are planning to play Unravel 2.
It
Oh
looks
my
so
God.
I'm not
good.
familiar
So-
with.
So Unravel
That's gonna
2
go so badly.
are these two little, they're called yarnies.
Oh my god.
Yes.
And they're these adorable little yarn, like monstery looking guys. And they have little yarn tails. And they're connected to each other. One's a blue yarn, one's a red yarn. And it's like a puzzle game, but it's co-op. So you have to work together to get through the obstacles and use your yarn to kind of like swing between obstacles or climb up things, and you have to work together. And Kurt and I have been trying to figure out a Pixel Play series for he and I to do together, because it's very hard for us to kick the other one out of the office to say like, hey, I'm going to play a video game and stream. So it just works to play it together. And it's
Sounds
super
like Little Big
adorable.
Planet.
That's a really good. I was just gonna say
And
that's a
we've
really
played
good
Little
choice.
Big Planet together before, and that was
It's
also
very
fun.
Little Big Planet, but it's a puzzle platform.
Yeah.
You rely on the other person to complete the puzzles. And
No, it's
Gigett
gonna be
is gonna
fun.
Rage so hard at Kurt. It's
No,
gonna be awesome.
You know,
Well, I'm not gonna troll. I won't troll Gidget.
No,
I don't troll
that's-
Gidget.
that's the thing, is-
difference. I troll you guys. I don't troll Gidget.
Kurt and I have played several co-op games together over the decade, and we've successfully, I mean, obviously there are moments where we screw each other up and we laugh about it, or we're like, damn it, do the thing. But for the most part, we're actually pretty good about not raging at each other. And if we get to the point where we are going to rage, we go, okay, cool. That's where we're going to pause and save and come back later
Yeah.
for the good of our marriage.
If you haven't seen or haven't watched anybody play Unravel, the first one, go watch somebody like Jacksepticeye or whoever your go-to gamer is of
Obviously
choice on
us.
YouTube.
I would say just wait for ours.
Yeah,
Obs.
we're gonna play Unravel too.
Obs.
The first Unravel is really
Nobody
good, and
else
it's not a co-op.
Ever
It's a
streamed it.
really good game. You need
Yeah,
to go check it
The
out.
first one isn't co-op, and it's just a little puzzly game where you're the yarny by yourself. But
It's
they
so
came out
great.
with Unravel 2, so Kurt and I are going to give that a shot sometime later
gonna
in 2019.
Buy that.
Yeah, it's super cute. You're chasing your spark.
You're chasing your spark.
All the heart
And the
beats.
little trailer's so adorable because they touch and they spark, and it's so cute. So anyway, of course, I had to pick a cute game.
I'm excited.
And then Nightson and Handor.
Yeah, similar situation when we can actually, but we both picked up Sniper Elite 4 because you know what's more fun than killing people for money? It's killing people for country, and doing it from about 1,000 yards.
No, Sniper
Yeah.
Elite is a series where you shoot somebody and it like slows down and tracks the bullet, and then like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's got
for the
Mortal
sound
Kombat.
effects.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat bullet impacts and whatnot.
Shoot him in
Nice.
the balls.
Yeah, and you get extra points for doing that too.
Yeah.
You do.
Nice.
And I think you get like achievement that says like, I don't
How
know.
would that work in
Lead
multiplayer?
ball.
Like, does the second player camera switch over to track player one's bullet?
I don't
also?
know.
Yeah,
What's
it- no,
interesting
it
is I've
does.
actually seen it play co-op, and I don't remember. I've seen.
It does. Nice one. I think
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it does. If
Okay.
you score that hit, then my camera will go.
Needs to.
So we both get to celebrate every one of my good hits.
Yeah.
So awesome. So those are the three.
Anyways, thanks for killing that.
Those are the three Pixel Play series that we know of as of right now that we're going to try to accomplish in 2019.
There might be a couple more.
There will definitely be more. That's just the ones that we've like said we
Got
will
locked
do
down.
this. So up next is something that we promised last month that didn't work, but we're
Yeah.
going to do it.
Yeah, we unfortunately had any number of technical difficulties, and we were trying to push through it, and then it went just complete tits up. So we had to kind of pull it last minute. And what we are, of course, talking about is our portal race.
Portal.
We think we have a much better solution. Now it's just a matter of implementing, testing, testing, giving enough time beforehand to make sure it's going to go live. And you think for enough tech people that we would have allowed for more testing time before actually trying to do it. But now we've learned our lesson, and
thanks to Handor and Rando, we have our solution, hopefully, that we're going to test out and then hopefully get that out to you guys.
For real though, I'm kind of I'm than probably any of the people playing in it, just because the preliminary test that we did were End of Line and I are supposed to be listening to everybody chat and then have a conversation ourselves. And I was just like, okay, we're going to do a test run. And I was listening to two different conversations happening, and my eyes just blacked out because apparently I only have enough processes to run like 2 inputs at a time. So if I set both of those to audio, my visual goes away.
You only have
like,
so many audio video ports.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, we're having a conversation. Yeah, you guys are having a conversation. Okay, what's happening? What? There's just, oh damn! Wait, who's talking? I just got so confused.
Yeah.
Instantly turned our brains to jelly hearing 3 conversations at the same time.
Oh yeah.
We had to
Which
spend
is
15
part
minutes
of what
teaching
we're
them how to learn how to swallow and breathe again.
Which is part of what we're trying to figure out with all the tech stuff, is trying to make sure that we also don't melt the brains of our fellow Pixel Scandal cast members.
Yeah.
So the next thing up on our announcement.
Before we do that, I did want to say thank you, Oreztes, for the sub.
Yeah.
We missed a call out earlier.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So just before we go to our next couple of announcements here, I want to thank everybody for hanging out as long as we have. We're an hour and a half in, and we're probably going to go another 20 minutes or so. So I just want to thank everybody for hanging out, because in my opinion, our next announcement is like the coolest thing. I'm super excited about it. So Nightson, take it away.
So we have finally got together and have built and launched our Patreon page.
Yay, Patreon!
I've been approached by more than a few people about best ways to support us, and up to this point has been just hop on Twitch, give us a sub, and go from there. And so they did ask if there were some more options. So we looked into doing Patreon. No idea how successful it's going to be or anything like that, but hey, we'll put it out there, and if someone wants to drop a link into chat, they can go and take a look.
And we will definitely have it in the show notes.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Right now, it's kind of just been the ideas that we have put together, namely early access to some of our videos. We're doing some behind-the-scenes content, as well as kind of debriefs for our RPG games, where it's kind of excessive to ask anyone to spend more than 4 hours listening to an actual play in action. But after the game, we like to just kind of talk about how things would go, and it doesn't make sense to discuss it on the show because we don't want to really spoil the episode afterwards. So we can build these episodes, put them out, and you can see them through that.
As well as character gen, which is something that we haven't been doing on the stream, but we have been recording for the past shows that we've done. So character gen is going to be another thing that we can put out there, so you can see like how we came to the decisions of the things that we did for the characters we've created.
And then beyond that, we have goals for, milestones of what we can do, if we start actually having some income. We'd love to add a second audio stream for the actual plays. Like right now, it is cost prohibitive to do more than the one we have right now. So we have the Nerdcast, but we'd love to also do the actual plays and, have those options so that you guys can listen in. Or on your what is it, podcatcher? What's our January version? Like we had the pod.
I know we had pod trees and pod turkeys and pod cookies and.
What's a January version?
I think that's the accepted term. It's
pod Martin Luther King month. That's the only thing going on in January.
I know. If you subscribe at our gold tier, you get access to End of Line's Not Safe for Work Snapchat.
I don't know. That's not how that works.
But they're
That
actually
doesn't exist.
I hope that's
And
not.
I'm making one now.
I hope that doesn't exist, and also you don't get that.
no, but there
Isn't
are
that
some
how
really
Patreon
exciting
works?
things on there, like Kurt learning and teaching you guys a system, an RPG system that you'd like to learn how to play, or really ask lots of questions about fiddly bits of rules and stuff. Kurt will do a monthly how to play a certain RPG thing, which is in one of our tiers, which is I think is kind of neat because sometimes just reading the book doesn't help you. You need to talk with somebody who's learned it. And
I'm gonna subscribe to that.
And now the thing to remember is we are as new to this as some of you, so it's going to be a growing process. We're going to learn. If you have suggestions, ideas, things you'd like to see, let us know.
Yeah, please do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the goal is to make the show and the channel and the content we put out better and more accessible, and add new things. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Help the channel help Pixel Scandal grow.
Yeah.
So we can keep adding cool stuff for you guys. All right. So the next thing is Handor. You have to
Who's not
announce
paying
the
attention?
thing, Handor.
Yeah, I know. So I will be visiting
Each and every one of you.
All of our subscribers.
of the subs.
Yep.
It's a limited time
Every
offer.
sub.
I will be visiting California. I will be visiting the West Coast. All of the rest of the Pixel Scandal Nerdcast that's not here, which it should be. All of you guys should be here, and then. But anyways, yeah, I'll be going out there, and it's gonna be in May, end of May till early June, and I'm gonna be possibly building a exceptional gaming table. If you guys want, you can go. I think it's on our webpage, right?
It is, yeah. It's on it's on our gallery on the website, and it's also on our Instagram page.
Just go check out the website and look at the table that I made for myself. I'm gonna make something similar to that. That's gonna be more recordable friendly for future Pixel Scandal awesomeness, board games and recording, and I'm gonna hang out and eat their food and cause trouble.
So
Cause trouble.
I'm
Cause
causing
trouble on the
trouble.
West Coast. I'm causing trouble
would
here.
it be more cost efficient for you just to table built to stay where you are?
Do what?
What?
Do what?
Nothing.
Ship us your table. No,
I
but
actually
this way,
don't believe it would be.
I don't think it would
more
be
expensive
either.
to ship a table than to build a new
But
table.
yeah, it's very exciting. Handor is going to come out here. We will definitely record some live content with Handor here, as well
Watch
as
him mispronouncing very popular items on the.
the Taco Bell, like taquitos.
To be
There's an
fair,
old
those,
story.
to be
What was
fair,
the-
those taquitos were from Jack in the
Taquitos.
Box.
What
Oh, was it?
You said
Okay.
something else recently that was like taquitos.
Quesadilla?
I don't think
No,
that's
it
what-
wasn't.
No,
It was
you
a
can
case.
say
No.
quesadilla.
When he was here last time, it was taquitos.
Taquitos.
It was totally taquitos. He wanted us to go to Taco Bell and he asked if they had taquitos.
Yeah. At the drive-through.
We all
so-
died.
But
Yeah, I want to.
while he's here, we want to record him like actually working on the table and hopefully put that video out for you guys to see like his process and how he's doing it. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be like a whole fast forward. You'll be able to see a bunch of wood get shaped and poop into a table, and
Pooped out.
pooped out.
hopefully in the course of hopefully we can condense it into a nice like hour.
Yeah. How big
45-minute video.
How big is the table going to be?
It's gonna be based on what you guys need for the room and how many players you're gonna have on one side of the table. And
Which takes us to our next announcement. Endo, why don't you take that away?
Yeah, so we are going to move Pixel Scandal into live actual plays on site with the cast. And we're going to have a studio set up with the gaming table that Handor is going to craft for us. And we're going to do actual plays of board games, RPGs. Pixel Scandal has reached out to an assortment of indie developers out there who are creating fantastic work. And we're going to try and get involved and help them promote their product and do actual plays for their product and kind of try them out and give our own perspective and reviews on those games and kind of promote the indie scene out there. There are a lot of really good products that people are really creative people doing some amazing work out there. That's why we're so excited about our actual play series for SideQuest. We're doing similar things. I think the products that we're kind of showing there are some more known products. And maybe we'll try our hand at looking at some more kind of hidden gems, I will call them. And some great people have sent us some of their work and have shown interest.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my dogs are going crazy. Have sent us some of their work and are interested in having us try it out. So we're planning on doing some on-site stuff. Yeah. It's something we've kind of been looking into for a few months, but obviously it's a complicated and a little bit expensive process.
Yeah.
Which is partially why we're going with Patreon. Is we do this because we enjoy it, we do it because we love it, but it all comes out of our pockets.
Yeah.
And we'd like to do more, and certainly that's a way that will allow us to do things like this. But we're going to try it out. We're going to see how it goes.
We actually, our Christmas episode was a bit of a sound test for us. The episode sound wasn't fantastic, but it was definitely a good test to see if the microphone system that I have could work for us for our board game room. And I think with some tweaking and really getting things dialed into each one of the cast members' voices the right way, it's going to be really great, and we're going to be able to put out some really cool stuff. So we're definitely in the process of creating that gem. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting, actually.
Yeah. All right.
What's this next one?
And
I tossed it in at the end.
Yep.
Basically, for those of you who have been kind enough to hang out, very unstructured.
You're cutting out a
You're
lot.
cutting out,
Oh no! I don't know how to fix this.
The
Just
internet
talk.
doesn't care
I
what
think-
you
Try again.
say.
All right.
Just start over.
For those of you who have hung out the last couple weeks, and while we've done some very unstructured content,
Yes.
we will be returning back to the normal topics and whatnot. Yes, we're all
Yes.
having another child. All of us.
All of us.
All of us.
Oh, no mas.
We're all having the same child.
We're going back to more structured content.
We're
Cast
adopting
next
Handor.
week
Yes.
with we're starting off with a topic using high-powered and established NPCs in your game and all the funds that can bring.
Yep.
Good and bad.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with that. I think that the last couple weeks have been really off from our normal structure. And starting next week, things are going to go back to normal, and we're going to start having more focused topics again. So, yeah, thanks for watching and putting up with all this stuff.
We're going to name the kid Forrest Ham. Actually, we're just going to adopt Handor, and we're going to rename you Forrest Ham.
No, Ben Penn, guys. Ben Penn.
Forrest Handor.
Forrest Handor.
Forrest Handor.
But it
plays
has
the
to be
character
Hamdor
Forrest.
now. It's Hamdor. You have to change your name. It's going to be Nightson and Hamdor. And
My
Forrest
son.
Handor is literally just a walk.
Gene says they'll pledge $10, but they have to be able to name the kid. So only if you're okay with it being Forrest Hamdor, because that's happening now.
And then finally, big announcement for the Nerdcast is Handor has finally written us an outro after all these months.
Did you really?
You ready?
All right,
It
hit
was
us
your
with the
only
outro.
job this week,
No.
Handor.
This year.
No, I got this.
You did
I
it?
got
Okay.
this. You ready?
Okay.
2019. I'm bringing this in. New leaf,
Okay.
man.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
All right, Pixel Scandal.
We're ready.
So the outro for Pixel Scandal is going to be Hello and welcome to the Pixel Scandal Nerd.
That's an intro. That's not how outros work.
And you're also stealing Kurt's intro.
You
That's
are
plagiarism.
literally so dumb.
That's not how outros work.
I thought it would work.
Guys, that's all we have for tonight. That's all the really awesome announcements we have. Go check out our Patreon page, and you can find more out about us on our website. Kurt, why don't you tell people where they can find us on the internet?
Oh boy, people can find us all over the internet. Gigett. Yeah,
Wow,
you can go
just totally sounded like Mr. Butthole.
Two intros do not an outro make. So people can find us all over the place. They can go to pixelscandal.com to find back episodes, info about the show. They can find links to our YouTube there. They can find links to our Twitch, which is twitch.tv/pixelscandal. Starting tomorrow, when I get the links up, they can find, when I get all the updates done, they can find links to our outro should be fading of, yes, just me talking, and then the show ends.
Like right
It
now.
just fades to black.
Starting tomorrow, Kurt will have a link to our Patreon on our website so that you guys can find all the information about Pixel Scandal on pixelscandal.com.
But you can find that at patreon.com/pixelscandal. You can also find us on iTunes or Google Play or Spotify by searching Pixel Scandal Nerdcast. Is that all the places? You can find us on Twitter at Pixel Scandal. You can find us on Instagram at Pixel Scandal. All the things, just go to pixelscandal.com and the links will be there. And if you want to contact us and you're like, I went to pixelscandal.com and there was nothing there, just email pixelscandal@gmail.com and we'll be like, it's there.
Yes, email us. My inbox is only.
Please email us and send all of your hate mail for this episode to endofline@gmail.com.
That's not, I don't think that, well, I don't know.
Still
that might
not
be
an
a good email
address.
address.
Still not.
But you can send your hate mail. You can tell us we suck by making a $5. Oh no, that's done.
That's
You're gonna have
over.
you can go to patreon.com/pixelscandal, make a $5 donation, and tell
you
us
go.
we suck.
I am literally
every
adding
month.
that to the Patreon now.
Thank
Tell
you
us
so
we
much,
suck in
guys, for sticking out this very long episode with us. We will be back to our 1 hour format next week. But Happy New
Not if
Year,
I can help it.
and thanks for hanging out with us.
All right, thanks everybody. We really appreciate you.
We'll
and
see you next weekend.
have a great evening.
Farewell.